Welcome into your news at 6. In 2019, William Oswald, a former Lexington County pastor, was arrested for multiple counts of criminal sexual conduct with a minor.
After a 5-day trial, Oswald was convicted of 3 counts and sentenced to 40 years in prison last December. In an exclusive interview, our investigative reporter Derek Rush spoke with one of the women who was a victim as she speaks out against sexual assault. Derek joining us now. Derek, I know it was a very compelling interview during your conversation with her today.
Absolutely. It was about a 30-minute conversation with Faith Hoover, who is William Oswald's daughter. She currently lives in Kentucky, but we spoke, like I said, via Zoom, that where she detailed the daily fear she says she felt in her home while these unfortunate events happened repeatedly at their house. And in an effort to encourage others to speak out, she says this is now the story of a survivor, not the story of a victim. I just want to know kind of where your headspace is as it pertains to everything that you've learned. It's been just over 2 months since the former pastor of a Lexington County church, William Oswald, was sentenced to 40 years in prison for molesting his own daughters. With his conviction now in the rear view, one of his daughters, Faith Hoover, says she is ready for closure.
The best way to answer that would be that it is an everyday choice to live. I really have worked on changing my mindset as opposed to I am not the victim anymore. I am a survivor.
A survivor of what she told law enforcement was at least 5 years of sexual abuse.
My earliest memories go back to the 2nd grade. And when we were living in Estill, this wasn't just a one-time thing. This was my daily life.
When we originally reported on the conviction of William Oswald, we said that the terrible acts he performed on his 2 daughters happened at Dunn's Chapel Church, which is here. But after a closer look at the incident report, it shows that they happened at a parsonage, or a home which is owned by the church, which is here, just a few yards away from the sanctuary. You know, did you ever feel like there was somebody that could do something?
My mom wasn't an option. Just was not an option for a number of reasons. I was afraid of what he would do to her.
So that really plays into the power dynamics.
Ashley Olayinka is also a former survivor and now is the founder and CEO of The Hive. The organization is comprised of other sexual abuse survivors whose goal now is to give other victims like Faith resources and foster a community for healing. Number 24 in the country. Number 24 in the country is South Carolina as far as reported sexual assault issues. What does that number say to you?
So to me, even though I'm glad that we're not, in the top 10, the reality is that there are so many that do not report. If we were taken to example, Black women who experience sexual assault, 1 out of 5 Black women experience rape. For every 1 Black woman that discloses her rape, 15 do not. So if we're just talking about one ethnic group, imagine other ethnic groups that are also not coming forward, what those true numbers would really be.
Both women pushing forward in their respective lives with a message to Faith and encouragement to other victims to speak out.
She is supported by so many, and I think that it's a strength that as survivors that we share with one another, even if we never said a word to each other. And so whether it's, Faith or if it's someone that is watching, to know that you're not alone, to know that if you chose just to get up today, you've already done enough.
If I had just had that one person, if I just had one person that said, I care, I understand, I believe you, how big of a difference would that have made in my life?
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say over half of women and almost 1 in 3 men have experienced sexual violence involving physical contact during their lifetimes. Now, it is important to note, Greg and Judy, we also found out Oswald was charged with 12 counts of sexual misconduct, we should say, with a child in Lexington County as well. According to the Public Index, those counts were disposed before being convicted of the 3 counts in Richland County. So we reached out to Faith Hoover, asking questions as to why those 12 counts were discharged. Hoover told me that Lexington County said because of the gap in time from when she came forward and when the acts took place, they felt they would not be able to properly try the case.
Well, the CDC also says more than 4 in 5 female rape survivors report that it happened before the age of 25, and almost half were first raped as a minor.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation. So strong for her to come forward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very brave, and just terrible situation. But of course, something that is not talked about often. And of course, a list of resources for victims of sexual abuse available on our website, WISTV.com. Thanks so much, Derek.
Thank you, Derek.